Welcome to the Elevating Leaders series, where we go beyond the headlines and straight to the people who are redefining Insurtech and business transformation. We've caught up with the visionaries and the pioneers that are currently driving the industry forward, bringing you exclusive insights, strategies, and stories you won't hear anywhere else. If you're ready to go deeper, this is your front row seat to the future of insurance. I'm Miguel Edwards, and this is 5 Minutes. My experience with MGAs is really kind of exchanging bordereau level financial data, and it's kind of like, trust us, we got it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't worry, 100%. Everything's
this is a formality.
Exactly. It's not the same now, correct?
No, it's not the same.
So what does it look like now? What's that data relationship look like?
It's the same. We still have to exchange the same information from a regulatory perspective, accounting, audit perspective. But our decisions, especially from an investment perspective and from our programs team, is very heavily, driven by underwriting. So we wouldn't really invest in an MGA if whether it is the programs team or a specific business unit or even Arch Re, has looked at the underwriting and has agreed, you know what, these are the guidelines, these are the policy wordings, this fits our appetite, or if it doesn't, how can we amend it so that it does, so we can be the paper on this? And so it's purely underwriting driven, the decision making in that process, and the same data that you would have going back and forth with claims, losses, policy data, it's the same thing.
Are you seeing the data exchange being more frequent so that you have an opportunity to see things as they're coming and seeing loss trends breaking bad before you get that month-end report?
Depends. So some of our investments are too early stage to say that there's a trend yet.
Okay.
But honestly, some of it's even real time.
Wow.
So there are some MGAs that are really digging into, earlier you were talking about AI and use cases, digging into getting some of that real-time information data, dynamic pricing, depending on the type of predictive analytics you're using and what the solution is. So I think we're moving more towards that model where, sure, you could have a monthly bordereau, and I know that's a very traditional way of sharing that data, but frankly, with some of these Insurtech MGAs, you could ask at any point in time, just send me a snapshot of the policies you've written in the last 20 days, or what's happening today, or what's happening in the last X amount of time, and they can just quickly, with a few clicks and buttons, send you that information.
I imagine that makes them more appealing and more attractive to work with, right? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So along those lines, Risha, what are some of the technology things that you're focused on, that you're thinking about, even outside of just necessarily from an investment perspective, but as you're watching how this technology could impact what it is that you do within the industry? What are some of the things that you're looking out for?
I don't want to say AI because
well, we have to. No, it's obligatory.
I feel like that's an answer for everything, but honestly, that's probably the main one because. And I was having this conversation earlier. The reason why everyone is talking about it, yes, it's because anything with AI attached to it is getting funding. Fine, that's ride the wave. As a founder, you should. Yeah. But it's because you can apply AI and AI use cases along the entire value chain. There isn't one part of the insurance value chain and reinsurance value chain that you can't find a use case or a solution that's AI related that would help in any part of that. And I think that's why. So I'm generally trying to stay on top of the entire thing, just to see what's happening, because our team acts as a funnel for a lot of startups that we would then introduce to strategic analytics, to other business units that aren't necessarily underwriting per se, but still need technology solutions to improve efficiency. And we're very analytics forward. So anything to do with analytics, ingesting data, underwriting, improving just kind of how that data is ingested, all its different forms. Can you take unstructured data and put it into the format that we need it? These are all the things that I've been hearing and the feedback I've been getting internally within Arch that I try and keep in the back of my mind when I'm seeing pitches or I'm at conferences like this and a startup pops up in a panel and I'm learning about what they do. Those are some of the main things. And I think we're also seeing this interesting wave from even just IoT and connected devices, where we're going from installing a dongle in your car to real-time data for commercial fleet drivers. That's a really impressive transition from just a few years ago. And so these are all the things that I find really interesting, even though I'm not necessarily investing in those spaces. It's just nice to see the cycles and how far it's come from when I first heard the term IoT. Now.
I love that. You remind me of, I've got a partner that did some work for Great Dane, the trailer company, and they have implemented something called Fleet Pulse, where they have IoT on the entire trailer. The reefer temperature, the tire pressure, brake functionality, all this stuff. It's absolutely amazing. I digress. But I wanted to ask you this question. Depending on who I talk to about the kind of the movement of AI,
Some people feel like it's going frustratingly slow for our industry, and some people feel like it's going way too fast. Where are you on that spectrum?
I don't think it's going slowly. I actually think it's going quite fast.
Okay.
But in an exciting way, not in a stressful way.
Not scary. Got it.
I think I've been in the Insurtech innovation space since I moved here, so 6.5 years. And compared to where we started in 2017, 2018 to where we are now, I actually think this is one of the periods of time where we've actually adopted the quickest to new technology. I mean, think about when we first started even just moving away from paper to then straight through processing, to then automated claims, and all these waves we've seen. We've adopted this generative AI, all these different platforms so quickly that the conversation of should we do it, should we not do it, didn't even really happen. We've just jumped straight to, so how do we pilot this? How do we create governance? How do we protect our personal information, PII from our customers? And so I actually think it's gone really, really quickly because the adoption phase didn't really happen. We've just gone straight to how do we experiment? And I think that's really impressive for our industry
100%.
That's known to be really slow in adopting new technology.
Thank you for joining this episode of 5 Minutes. If you've enjoyed our discussion, we'd love for you to share it with anyone else you think might find it interesting. Also, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening on and hit that bell to stay on top of the game with our practical 5-minute episodes. We look forward to seeing you again next week.